Good morning, party people. I am on my way to Chi-Town today. Finally got enough things taken care of. Actually, I have to take care of a couple things on Panther this morning just to make sure things are okay with Panther. I noticed the other day that my coolant reservoir was so brittle that I was able to grab the edge of it and break a piece off. I think that has something to do with me not running a heat shield under that car. So I need to get a heat shield around that turbo. That should force that hot air down under the car. You know, with me driving long distances, towing through the desert, towing vehicles uphill, man, I'm thinking my turbo gets hotter than normal. And I want to put a camera under there just to see if that thing actually glows red. I've heard people say that they're going up long hills and stuff like that, and man, their turbo was red. I don't know if that has anything to do with exhaust blockage, but that's something maybe interesting to check. However, without having a heat shield, I'm noticing things deteriorating under my hood at a faster rate than normal. Like my coolant reservoir bottle, man, I think that thing's only 4 years old. It looks like it's 15 years old. So I think I need to deal with that. So I do have one. I have one in my storage, one of these boxes. I hadn't seen it yet. Andrew let me borrow one for his 850R. So I'm going to do that this morning before I hit the road. So when I get to Chicago, hopefully I'll get Diane settled in the hotel around 3 o'clock. Head over to Swedish Carports, hang out there for a couple of hours, then go over to John's place and get that busted transmission replaced on his 850 T5. Did a manual swap on his car last December. One of the synchros is bad, going from third to fourth. That transmission's been acting up ever since. He's been patiently waiting. We tried to do that on my last visit to Chicago, but ran out of time. So we also had an issue with his exhaust. I have an exhaust I'm going to take up there anyway. If for some reason you've been trying to connect with me over the past several months to check out your car, fix something on there that takes a couple of hours, I am open to do that. I plan to be there till Saturday. After Saturday, I'm going to head back home, regroup, head over to Baltimore, Richmond, Roanoke, go home for another day or two, then head over to Springfield, Missouri, do a manual conversion there, then up to New York, Pennsylvania, and long story short, I hope to be back to Chicago the end of August, beginning of September, to do a manual conversion for Sebastian and whatever else. I can stay there as long as I want after that. I'm trying to get these urgent things taken care of. People with vehicles that are not running or running, relatively rough with leaking oil and different things like that. So that's my travel plans. Sometime in September, I will probably have a chance to go to the VCOA annual meet that they are going to have in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I'll probably have Panther. Queen Bee will probably be there and have a good time. Also, plan to have a few mini meets. May have one this Saturday morning in Chicago. I will announce that probably tomorrow morning. My buddy James over in Hudson Valley, New York, he said he's open to have a small meet there. Have a bunch of Volvo people over his place. He has a nice size lot, a lot of space for parking several cars, a dozen or more, and we could hang out at his place for an afternoon or something. Just have a good time, Volvo people goofing off, sharing stories, stuff like that. So I'll be having meet and greets in a couple of the locations, so just stay tuned. Look in the title for meet and greet and your area, and maybe we'll be able to connect and have some hangout time and have some fun. So that's where I'm at. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I ran into a young lady a couple days ago, ran out of gas, and the gas fill on some of these newer vehicles is a little different. So it had an adapter that was stored in the trunk she wasn't aware of. I pulled that out, shows sticking that in the tank. And these new gas cans, man, I need to do a separate video just to show people how to use these new gas cans. They're outrageous. So hope to see you if you're in the Chicago area. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you could click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Ran into this young lady in the middle of the street, no gas. These newer Fords, Ford, I think this is a Focus, has this in the trunk by the tire chain stuff. You got to put that in there before you can put gas in there. You use that as a funnel for your gas. Hanging out in the park. No more hoods than this.
That one busted on the card. How many?
I am about to take some more of this stuff to storage, but first I'm going to rinse these cars off. Queen Bee actually needs washed. Panther needs a good rinse, maybe washed too. Let me do that and then get on some of this organization. I got Panther washed and dried. Most important thing about washing your car and getting it dried off is, of course, your own physical health. So I knew I was going to be out here. It's hot, sunny. I hydrated before I washed it. Another thing that's important is that if you're going to be in the sun, you don't want to let water dry on it, especially not soapy water. I use the Armor All car wash. Back in the day, I used to use Ivory dishwashing soap because one of my mentors that showed me how to wash cars said that that was a mild soap, wouldn't strip some of your waxes and things off your paint. So I use automotive car wash soap to clean the car. And I kept the car wet, the entire car wet the whole time, because if it dries by the sun, you leave spots. Now, a couple things I noticed is there's some tree sap on it. I don't know when or where that got on there, but tree sap will damage your paint. You want to get that stuff off of there and re-wax it. Some tree sap is like a turpentine, and you wouldn't put turpentine on your paint. Do a little wash and rinse on there, put a little more wax on there. You want to get that off of your car as quick as possible, because the longer it sits on the car, the more damage it'll do to your paint. It'll eat right through your paint. Tree sap. I noticed some on the windshield. That's how I knew there was some around on the paint somewhere. That's something on the windshield there. I need to get that off with a razor. And I noticed something on my headlight lens. There's a couple spots there, a couple spots there. So definitely get this tree sap off of your car. You don't want that on your car. Eat through the paint. If you got a good wax on there, you got a little bit of protection, but it's always best to have 100% protection. Anywhere you see tree sap on there, get that stuff off. There's some other things on this paint too, but you know, 26-year-old car with 500,000 miles on it, I ain't worried about it. You know, look like some tree sap here as well. Dripped actually on the trim and ran down the trim. So avoid parking your car under a tree if you care about the finish of the paint. Then after you rinse it all off, make sure your soap doesn't dry on it. Dry it off. It's best to hit it with a terry cloth towel. And they have car drying microfiber towels. Better than chamois. Chamois are abrasive if they pick up any dirt. Microfiber towels prevent abrasiveness. So if you care more about your paint, you want to avoid using chamois and use microfiber towels. You can get high quality towels, man. I could dry this whole car with this little towel I got over here and just wring it out once or twice. That thing picks up water really good. So anyway, Panther's done. I'm gonna wash Queen Bee. It's got some dirt on it from sitting in Oklahoma. My cousin never did get this car in the garage like we had planned, but it's something else, man, taking care of a car. I've been driving it around the last few days. Took it to that car show the other day. I'm gonna take this old Carlisle sticker off, maybe put the new Carlisle sticker on there from this year, and you know, find somewhere to park Queen Bee for the season. Decided to break out the canopy, give myself and Queen Bee a little bit of relief in dealing with the washing of this one. I'm gonna go hydrate some more, wash this one. Then I'm gonna take the rear wheels off and adjust the parking brake tighter. The parking brake's not holding when it rolls back, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick and keep it moving. There she is, folks. Queen Bee, baby. All cleaned and dried up. Wax still seems nice on it. I'm gonna go ahead and knock these rear wheels off, adjust the parking brake, and then I'm gonna do a little experiment, I guess I'd say. I get people, my viewers, a lot of times ask me, man, does Volvo sponsor you? Why didn't Volvo sponsor you? Man, you ought to contact Volvo. Man, Volvo does not value what I bring to the Volvo community, because it's mostly helping people keep old cars on the road. I don't know why they don't see the value of that. That's a very valuable thing. For people to see your cars looking good on the road, working hard 20, 30 years after they've been built. People like buying things that last, worth their money. But I've never been contacted by Volvo about trying to show me some love and appreciation for what I do to help others keep these cars on the road. The way big corporate America thinks, man, if you're not putting money in my pocket, what good is it to me? They're all about, new development and making money. Now, I think Volvo goes a little bit step beyond that. They care about the safety. But man, I'm a gnat on the back of a horse's rear end when it comes to them thinking anything about me, about what I do to the community. So what I was thinking about doing, Queen Bee's all cleaned up. I have all the parts to make this thing look back to original. I got headlights, I got the Titan wheels, I got the original grill. Heck, I got 2 parts cars to do it. And I think I'm gonna go up to the dealership today, see if there's a manager in there. If they're open, I'm gonna call up and check. If there's a manager up there, I'm just gonna drive up there, introduce myself, maybe take about 3 or 4 minutes of their time. Ask them, would they store Queen Bee in their showroom for me? I think the answer is going to be no. It would be a good addition to their showroom, showcasing a car like this, looks as good as Queen Bee does, and brag about the longevity, stuff like that. Heck, me and Dan could even make a show car banner for it. But I think I'm going to get the same thing I get when I go to the BMV, in line for rejection. So let me go ahead and adjust these parking brakes, take my break, run up to the dealerships and ask them if they'll store this car for a couple months, see what they say. So I have a Volvo 850 and I run these S60 wheels on it. I think these S60 wheels are 7-inch and the wheels that came on here are 6.5. So when you run the larger wheels, you're supposed to get a 1/4-inch spacer put on there and then get longer lug nuts and put on there to bring this wheel out away from this rubbing. If you don't do that, you could experience that kind of rubbing, the inside of your tire hitting that nut. The other side had that one jacked up too. This one totally missing, and this skirt in here eaten away by a tire. So be careful when you're running larger wheel widths. You got to check the offset and put spacers on there to compensate for the offsets. This is so funny. When I adjusted the parking brake on Panther, I noticed that hose was broken. Now I'm adjusting the parking brake on Queen Bee. The same hose is broken. Heck, look like a hose missing off of there too. Got the parking brakes adjusted. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my mess. Run up to the dealerships. I was going to wash PR and assess it before I ran up there to the dealerships, but I'm hot. It's getting hotter. I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, eat lunch, run up there to the dealerships, then come back and deal with PR. Me and Queen Bee headed up to Volvo Cars of Cincinnati. See if we get any play up there. Like I said, I always like to tell people Irv Gordon was the poster child for Volvo. Robert Spinner is the red-headed stepchild, the black sheep of the family. So I'm gonna head up here real quick, try not to take too much of my time or theirs, see if they want to entertain the idea of putting Queen Bee in their showcase for a few days and go from there. Here we go, folks, the Volvo dealership. Well, I walked into the door. I asked to speak to a floor manager or sales manager. In just a couple of minutes, a guy came out. I introduced myself as a YouTube Volvo icon and told him that I was looking for a place to store Queen Bee. He was not familiar with the model of the car or anything, but after just a minute or two, he suggested that I contact their storage facility. They actually purchased a facility where they allow their customers, they sell Maseratis, Porsches, Volvos, to store cars. Pricing seemed reasonable, so I'm going to call them and see if I can store Queen Bee there for a couple of months while I travel around. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know. But Queen Bee might be in a climate-controlled tethered storage facility for cheaper than the local market. Go Parking brakes up. Queen Bee's in reverse. I do not have my foot on the brake, and I'm not going back down this hill. Woohoo! Parking brake set. Man, I don't know whose beauty this is. AMG. Got the carbon fiber lip down there. Big wheels, carbon fiber mirrors. Big wheels, carbon fiber weld tail. Big wheels, carbon fiber lower spoiler lip. That thing is nice. 4-door. Somebody's sporting. Look a little low too, but that may be normal. We are here with Andrews R 200,000 mile plus carbon fiber rear wing. Man, this reminds me of that Benz I was just looking at. Anyway, I think we're going to do a timing belt on this thing so he don't bust that while he's driving around as a daily. We're expecting that turbo to come in any day for Red Baron. So let me go ahead and knock this out and get back down the road. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.